Kitco News, special coverage of the Explore Convention, is brought to you by Radisson Mining.
There could be a new number 3 gold miner, and our next guest should be at executive chair is Sean Boyd. He is CEO of Agnico Eagle. Earlier this month, the company announced a merger with Kirkland Lake Gold. If the merger gets approved, the combined companies could have a total annual gold production of 3.4 million ounces, placing it directly below Newmont and Barrick. The new entity, which would be keeping the Agnico name, would see Sean Boyd as executive chair and Kirkland's Tony McCooch as CEO. Sean, always a pleasure. Welcome back to Kitco.
Great to be back.
Sean, is this a done deal? Is this going ahead?
Yeah, we expect it will. It's been well received, and I think it's because it's kind of different from what you normally see in the gold space. Normally you see premium acquisitions generally done to fix issues of the acquirer. Here, what we've done is basically put two very strong businesses together to create a low-risk, high-quality platform that's really designed to take advantage of industrial synergies that exist based on the proximity of the assets. So $2 billion in synergies. And what we really like about it is it unlocks a lot of value with the regional proximity of these assets, and it creates a platform going forward that will create a lot of value as well. So lots to like from both shareholder bases. We worked hard, lots of due diligence over a long period of time. So we've done the background work, and we've come up with something that we feel is extremely fair and good for both sets of shareholders.
Now, I did notice there was a bit of grumble about that premium. KL shares did sell off, but have now recovered.
Yeah, I think it was just timing. There was some chatter on a Sunday night from a blog, which created a little bit of a bump in the Kirkland stock on the Monday. So what we did is reset everything to the Friday, base the share exchange ratio off of the due diligence, and that really results in using the 10-day VWAP off of the Friday close, about a 1% premium to Kirkland shareholders. But it's not about the premium. It's really about taking two companies, a merger of equals, 54% Agnico, 46% Kirkland, which, as we said, that's a good, fair ratio based on the due diligence. But it's really designed to unlock that value. Regional consolidation is, we think, the way to go as the industry looks to consolidate, to take advantage of expertise in a region, apply that across a broader range of assets to really unlock that value and create the best long-term platform in the gold business. That's what it's really all about.
I'll credit Joe Mazumdar with this, but when he was looking at the deal, he noticed how heavily underlined was the rationale around ESG and the ESG benefits from the deal. If the merger goes ahead, what are some ESG metrics that would put ahead the new merged company vis-a-vis other senior gold miners?
Well, as the industry looks at consolidation, I think one of the opportunities is really around ESG and the demands, but the opportunity set about ESG. Agnico is recognized as a leader in ESG in terms of the rating agencies. We rank extremely well. And I think what this broader platform does is just give us more resources to actually do more on the social side in communities, given our regional strength. And that will really be where the focus is. We also have some unique opportunities in Canada's north to use renewable energy. And a couple of months ago, we signed a memorandum of understanding with partners in and around the Hope Bay area to put the first wind turbine in place. So lots of opportunities there for making investments around ESG that will make us more energy efficient and less of an issue around greenhouse gas emissions. Although when we look at the combined company on a relative basis, we're already low compared to the industry. So we're just going to build on those strengths with the broader platform.
Now, Kirkland Lake recently announced the additional 10 million ounce resource at Detour. What does this do to deals like the investment you had at Maple Gold Mines as well as other greenfield explorations?
Well, again, that's the nice thing about this. This is creating a bigger platform, but not a platform that's becoming more difficult to manage. In this instance, it's really 12 mines, 4 countries. We haven't overly complicated our business. So when we step back and look at what made both Kirkland and Agnico Eagle successful, it was really around exploration. It was really around investments in juniors. So none of that changes in terms of how we're going to add value. I think the focus will be more on what opportunities exist regionally around this broader platform and take advantage of those. So we'll still continue to have meaningful investments and a meaningful portfolio of investments in junior companies and use those investments to get a better understanding for those opportunities and how we can continue to add value with our junior partners.
If the merger is approved, would you expect a change in your relationship with Yamana at Canadian Malartic?
No, that's worked very well, that partnership, and it's really because our 50% respective interest in the Canadian Malartic joint venture and partnership is an important asset to both companies. And when we look at the potential and upside there, both companies, Yamana and Agnico, will be focused on realizing that potential through more exploration. So it's a great asset to own. It's part of that regional consolidation because when we look at the Detour mine down to Kirkland Lake, across to Val-d'Or, the combined platform will produce almost 2 million ounces annually with 70 million ounces of reserve and resource. And the Canadian Malartic asset is a big part of that, and it's still growing. As we've announced earlier this year, what we're finding underground around East Goldie and what that does to the underground opportunity there. So still an important asset. So we'll be looking to add a lot of value with our partner Yamana on that asset.
The merger goes ahead, Sean, assuming that. So what are some of the top project milestones for the combined KL and Agnico over the next 12 months?
Well, it's still very much about several things. Project advancement, our pipeline, which drives growth. As we said, the combined company will produce about 3.4 million ounces, going to 3.6 million ounces as we move projects forward. On our side, it's really Upper Beaver and Kirkland Lake, but that benefits from the Macassa mine. It benefits from the Macassa shaft sinkers being finished, the Macassa shaft next year, potentially moving over to Upper Beaver. So there's a lot of synergies within the project pipeline. But this is a unique story, even though, as you said off the top, Michael, it becomes the third largest producer of gold and an ability to grow that production. It's also very much an exploration story. When we look at the ounces that have been recently added at Detour, when we look at the recent drill holes coming from Fosterville, but you have to really focus again on Agnico. And this goes back to your initial question on creating the right balance. There's just as much or more upside on the Agnico Eagle exploration platform at its major producers than it is on the Kirkland side. And we were able to both see that on due diligence. So we see continued upside at Canadian Malartic in terms of exploration in Kittilä, Finland, Meliadine in Nunavut, LaRonde even after all those years, we're still finding more gold, Mexico, Santa Gertrudis. So there's a lot of exploration excitement in that combined platform, even though it's a much bigger gold producer.
Gold is beaten up. I don't have to tell you right now, Sean, at least for the junior space, the GDXJ is off a third of the year to date. What do you see as a catalyst for investors to come back?
Well, we see it as gold investors, but the general market still doesn't see it. There's still a strong belief in inflation being transitory. But I think as we continue to move forward and see the bump in energy prices, see the bump in prices, basic commodities as well, all of this will ultimately flow through to higher inflation. What you're starting to see now is inflationary expectations begin to sort of settle in on the workforce, and they'll start demanding more in terms of pay packages. That's really the catalyst that kickstarts, we think, a change in inflationary expectations and perceptions. Once that settles in, gold's going to move. And the opportunity, as you said, is in the gold stocks. They're all down. They are down off of clearly, as everybody knows, significant highs last year. That's really the opportunity. Gold will move higher. You need to be invested in the right stocks now to take advantage of the change in sentiment around inflation, around gold, and then ultimately in the gold stocks.
Lastly, Sean, if the deal goes ahead, you're going to be executive chair. How do you see your role changing? What will you be doing, or what would you like to be doing in the sector?
Well, as everybody knows, I've been at Agnico 36 years. I'm actually looking at a table ahead of me that I sat in at that table in 1983, and I wasn't even an employee of Agnico. I was an auditor working for Ernst & Young doing work at Agnico. So I think it's that connection to the culture, the connection to the strategy, which has been extremely effective over multi-decades in adding per share value. I can bring a lot of that knowledge to the table. It's to ensure that we continue to have a board that works closely with management to focus on strategy, to focus on culture, and to focus on how the business gets positioned in the market. It's all going to be based on results and driving results and getting those results. I'm confident the team can do that, but it's also about ensuring that we get the message out. The message around mining being strong contributors to communities and ESG, but also in terms of adding value for shareholders. So we have an award-winning IR team here at Agnico, not just in mining, but across the whole space here in Canada. So I've been a big part of that. So I'll be helping the team work through that. So we're excited about the combination. We're confident it gets done, and we're looking forward to getting it done this year. So we move into 2022, a broader platform, a lot more upside, much stronger management team. This is good for Canadian mining. This will be a Canadian champion. There's a vacuum here around Canadian leadership in mining. So excited about taking that mantle. And we look forward to working with our new partners at Kirkland Lake.
Sean, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
He's Sean Boyd, CEO of Agnico Eagle. My name is Michael McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining.
Kitco News, special coverage of the Explore Convention, is brought to you by Radisson Mining.